Hello movie Barfs, and welcome back to the channel. The role of the Joker is indeed the role of a lifetime. The Clown Prince of Crime is one of the most complex fictional characters that not many actors have the caliber to bring to life. And as we've seen, it can either springboard your acting career, gaining recognition from as high up as the Academy, or reduce you into a meme machine down into the deep recesses of social media. Unfortunately for Jared Leto, he falls into the latter category, gaining as much flack for his role as George Clooney did for Batman. Even Lego Joker was better than Leto's Joker, but what was it that made his Joker so negatively received? Leto is no acting schmuck. He's a seasoned veteran with a long mileage in Hollywood and even holds an Oscar for acting. Well, as it turns out, much of what went wrong with Jared Leto's Joker is linked to one of the DCEU's most trashed films, Suicide Squad. Let's take a deeper look at why. Number 8. Confused marketing from WB. Even before Suicide Squad was released, Jared Leto's Joker already had a bad start, and that bad start can be summed up in one word: damaged. The first poster for Suicide Squad implied it to be more of a gritty film, featuring a lack of comedic tone and a serious take on the characters. Shortly after that, character posters were being revealed bit by bit, and that brings us to the damaged controversy. The first image of Jared Leto dressed up as Joker shows him with an excessive amount of tattoos, including one that spells "damaged" on his forehead. Fans and the media made a mockery of this, and there was a tremendous backlash on how the marketing and makeup department were trying too hard to be edgy. It was only until the actual trailer came out that people were slightly swayed, because Joker looked a bit different from the initial marketing. The marketing of the film radically changed for some reason over time and went for something close to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The colors became vibrant, the characters were cracking jokes, and it was clear that there was a tonal shift in what the movie was going to be about, and that impacted the depiction of Joker as well. Number 7. Living up to Heath Ledger's performance. Jared Leto had a lot of pressure going into this role, some of which was to live up to the incredible performance by Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight, especially since he was already an Academy Award winner for Dallas Buyers Club. But it was clear that Leto and the writing team tried a bit too hard to distinguish their take by going in an entirely different route with the character. Leto also resorted to his method acting antics, and those sadly did not end up in his favor. You'd be forgiven if you saw him as a copy and paste of Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka. In 2008, Heath Ledger also faced this same underdog situation, as people thought there was no way he could top Jack Nicholson's 1989 Joker. But he surprised everyone with his amazing Oscar-winning performance. Sadly, it was the reverse for Leto, and it is easily one of Jared Leto's worst performances in his career. But fortunately for Joaquin Phoenix, he set the bar very low for him to come in and outshine his brief tenure as the Clown Prince of Crime. Number 6. This Joker shouldn't even be alive in the first place. If Batman kills criminals in this universe, then how is the Joker still alive? We've seen in BVS that Batfleck makes no restraint whatsoever in killing criminals. Even small-time criminals aren't spared. Whether it was firing his Batmobile machine gun or throwing crates at the heads of thugs, Batfleck was pretty much the Punisher or Judge Dredd in a bat costume. So it makes sense that if Batman kills criminals who have done relatively smaller crimes than the Joker, surely Batman would have offed the Joker by now given the magnitude of death and destruction he's caused. This is all the more intriguing when you consider what the Joker did. In the DCEU, we clearly see a Robin suit graffitied by the Joker in the Batcave, heavily implying that the Joker killed one of the Robins, presumably Jason Todd in line with the Death in the Family storyline. Batfleck killing criminals and the Joker still being alive in the DCEU are incompatible concepts. In other media, the Joker represents the closest point that Batman has ever come to killing. If Batman were to start killing criminals, the Joker would absolutely be the first to go. This is a problem as it's a huge inconsistency in character based on what we've seen in this version of Batman. Despite having all those stupid tattoos, this Joker doesn't even have the Bat brand of justice on him. And we don't get an explanation as to why the Joker is still spared. It's almost as if the filmmakers knew they wouldn't be able to produce a convincing reason, so they didn't even bother. So when I first saw the trailer for Suicide Squad, with the scene where Batman tries to stop Joker's car, my first thought was that this has to be a flashback. Sometime in the past when Batman did not yet kill, because I'd assumed that Joker was already dead in the timeline of BVS Dawn of Justice, since Batman was now judge, jury, and executioner. But as it turns out, the events of Suicide Squad happen after BVS, and the Joker's still alive and well, which I can't comprehend to this day. Even now, as he's appearing in the Snyder Cut, I don't see how the Joker can be alive when Batman kills freely, and I doubt I'll be getting an answer anytime soon. Number 5. lack of screen time. One of the most surprising parts of Suicide Squad is how little Jared Leto's Joker is actually in it. For a movie that's longer than 2 hours, he's in it for a total of 8 minutes, give or take. That's simply not enough time for a character to develop or make an impact. There are reports that a lot of his scenes were cut, as both Jared Leto and the director David Ayer have confirmed. Would adding these additional scenes have made his performance and character better? We can't tell, but it never hurts to have more screen time to such an important character. He feels shoehorned in, and even the scenes that involve him are fairly disjointed. If this was supposed to give the audience a first look at the new take of Joker, then they failed miserably. Zack Snyder has already gotten his cut, and maybe one day we'll see the David Ayer cut as well, with the supposed Joker footage added to the film. But for now, Joker's lack of actual presence in the film is apparent. It hurt any chance Jared Leto had to continue appearing in DCEU movies from that point onward. There are a lot of parties to blame in this situation, and Warner Bros.' mismanagement surely is one of those. Number 4. No memorable dialogue. Anyone that saw The Dark Knight remembers Ledger's iconic phrase, "Why so serious?" There's a reason why previous Joker characters worked so well on screen. They had sharp dialogue written with a certain level of wit and purpose. Jared Leto hardly has any dialogue, and the things he does say are completely forgettable. It doesn't stop there. Leto continued to make strange sounds during dialogue in an attempt to make his character look psychotic or delusional. It comes off as cringy and unnecessary. He wasn't being taken seriously by the audience because his lines weren't compelling or interesting. Everything Leto said felt out of place and tonally incoherent. This bit is on the writers because they easily could have made him a compelling character by at least giving him some lines that we hadn't heard before. His delivery is another issue, and being so involved in his method acting antics hurt his performance. Number 3. The gangster angle didn't work. David Ayer's approach to the Joker shows a fundamental misunderstanding of the character. The Joker is not a mob gangster or a low-life pimp who hangs around in strip clubs. He's an anarchist who deviates from society and, as Ledger's Joker said, a better class of criminal. Jared Leto's Joker was a gangster, someone who ran multiple crime organizations. He was essentially a mob boss and someone in control of multiple low-life criminals. It felt like he had a clear objective. This might be enticing for some, but one of the biggest draws of Joker as a character is his lack of purpose and objective. We have seen this happen in multiple films and comics. The Joker acts as he sees fit and doesn't want to be associated with low-life scum. His ambiguity makes him a threat and someone to be feared. Not knowing what his next move is can be scary, and that's not something we see in Leto's Joker. He drives a fancy car, collects expensive weapons, and flaunts his life of luxury. The previous Joker portrayals have an almost anarchistic personality and don't act out to be in the spotlight. Heath Ledger's Joker wanted to prove to the world that they were as ugly as him inside, while Joaquin Phoenix's Joker just wants to get back at the society that has repeatedly kicked him to the curb all his life. Jared Leto's Joker just wants to sprawl on the floor with his knife collection and paint horrible tattoos on his body. In multiple scenes, we see him behave like a standard mob boss with a bit of craziness on the side. He doesn't come off as intimidating, but someone who is trying too hard to look intimidating. It often sounds like he's a teenager trying to be edgy. His body is full of tattoos and his hair color is extremely sharp, without a natural look. This creates a soulless depiction of the character and something that doesn't make a character stand out for their traits. Remember the gang in the Batman Beyond animated series called the Jokers? They were a cult of Joker wannabes who dressed up like the original Joker as homage to him. Well, Jared Leto's Joker doesn't feel like the real Joker, but he can easily pass off as one of those cult members, and that's sad. Number 2, his laugh isn't iconic. Joker's laugh is an important part of the character, and each actor has brought something different to it. Jack Nicholson brought his low, brooding, slick sound to his version of Joker. Heath Ledger's giddy laugh is haunting, while Mark Hamill, the voice actor for Joker in most of the animated series and video games, has a hysterical version which fits his version extremely well. Now, hear what Leto's Joker's laugh is like. It's one of the most cringe-inducing sounds one can produce. Props to him for trying to create a unique sound for himself, but it was just annoying, sounding like an old door that creaks as it closes slowly. Number 1, Jared Leto's overacting didn't work. Now, Jared Leto is a great actor and has starred in some excellent films over the years. He's a talented singer with a respectable following. Sadly, in the case of Suicide Squad, his acting simply wasn't up to par. Almost every single scene he's in is overacted to an unhealthy degree, and it's kind of shocking that the cast and crew were satisfied with his takes. That hunka hunka line will forever be an unwashable stain in film history as one of the most cringy words ever uttered on screen. There are even reports of him staying in character all the time during filming, and how uncomfortable he made his fellow actors. I guess acting like a creepy douche doesn't pay off. This isn't method acting, it's meth head acting, and the worst part is that Leto seems to think he's nailing the role. His overacting can be seen throughout the film, and it's as if someone is trying too hard to feel intimidating. A simple way to explain the problem with his acting is that the audience could tell he was acting. No one felt immersed or convinced by his performance, and that's a very bad sign. It's a shame because Leto wasn't utilized properly at all. Maybe with stronger writing and direction, we could have seen his potential fully realized, but that did not happen in Suicide Squad. It could be said that Ledger and Phoenix's Joker were crazy men trying to act sane, while Leto's Joker was a sane man trying to act crazy, and we as the audience didn't buy it. Sadly, his portrayal of Joker is easily the worst in film history. Many factors attributed to his rocky performance as we explored above, and there isn't much left to do to redeem that performance. It will be interesting to see who will take the role of Joker in future DC film projects. It's a shame that we never got to see the full potential of Jared Leto in a standalone film, or a Batman film. Or maybe it's just good riddance and wasn't meant to be. So what do you folks think? Did we miss out on anything? Did you like or dislike Jared Leto's Joker? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out our other videos.